Jetons, Dar, Temba, Temba, Jeton, Dar, Stingin of Indino, Stay and Deton, Detana, Omarin Chid, Kotu, Koza, Kopa, Jeta, Kotu, Koza, Kala, Yasati, Rapato, Temendo, Kobaton, to stupid. Tibisu, Jin Soma, 40 Jones, still new, two solar, two loud Soma, Rohiti, two loud Soma, Rohiti Trabai, Yon, Titan, Rohiti Trana, Titan, Rohiti Trabai. Trona, Titan, Yontan testing, Dembat Gubis, concert, concert, Tatit, Temi, concert, Titan, Tatir, Steny, maybe, Steny maybe, Roger to be children over. Tatir Steny maybe, about Joe Gocha, Temba Yimber, no one's. Tara, Oma Gomoros and Moy Dadi Tati Mumboji, Tatem, Chitawa, the Tatem, Chitawa, Yimba, no.
Page 52, the first line. The same text goes on to say, what is being explained here is the same as that which appears in Precious Garland, where it refutes the 6 foundational components, or the 6 elements, being the person. All these above quotes from the reliable sources appear to point to the fact that if, say, the person or the bodily joints were to exist inherently, then they must exist absolutely or truly, in which case they must exist as indistinctly one, without any differences whatsoever with their parts. And the point is that if this self does exist as intrinsically real, then it should be intrinsically seen as one with its parts, or intrinsically to be seen as different from its parts. And if seen as intrinsically one with its parts, then the two should be the indistinctly as indistinctly as one, or as the identically as one.
Tashi Nashi Nyademano Nyani Rogi Nyani Nepal Seji Nando Demba Seji Nansi Simsi Tadrona Sega Nando Demato Nawado Demato DJ Nishaba Pumboto Dema Ngoni Yoba Medi Rishi Roji Tribute Tate Don Madravich Rose. That said, then a number of days the Roji Tribute Tate Corono do Google. Oh, yeah. Chol Hama Ni Cholama Ni Tombo Nissen, Cholama so sound that number Degan on Ni Sondros, Anindros, and the Ta so you so the Debi so Ani Nama to your mother, that Ni Nemi Dong is the station. Only Cholama Sondi Cholama Kawana or Tijan Roy get about Tatechito Matabit. Ani Jerison de Gores, Cholama, Ani Naboti, Tomboni, Chitama, Chitotama, Corono, Digires, Case and Dugube, 아니서 지리 류비 그 류비 저 타데 니서 데모 장 오다 넘버 데도 저 니노로 두고 디티 닉타근 자처그 옹 아니 아스토니 디터도 디터 지벌 디터 아랍지 지반오는 데니 데지 나 네미 요리산 나 칸에 준데 나 네미 좀 어디 저자 만도로노 체드노 니노 돈도 나 송송 시 송미시 송미 never goes.
Page 52. Besides chapter 22 of Lama Tsongkhapa's exposition of Treatise on the Middle Way. Treatise on the Middle Way, this is by Nagarjuna, which is Mula Madhyamika Karika, or the fundamental wisdom of the Middle Way. It says, similar to a person, for instance, let's say Devadat, possessing ears or livestock, the Tathagata too possess aggregates, but not intrinsically, because he does not possess them either as inherently one with them or inherently different from them. The latter three dimensions of the fivefold analysis can be subsumed under the first two of the dimensions. Okay. So here the latter three. What are the latter three? We know that the Buddha rejected of the 7 modes of rejection. Buddha rejected 7 modes of rejection of intrinsic self. Buddha rejected 4, and then Nagarjuna added 1 more, which is that the self is rejecting the self to be intrinsically different from its parts, making it 5. Then so from in the context of these 5, okay, first on top of these 5, then Acharya Chandragiri added 2 more, the collection and the special shape. So in the context of the rejection of the 5 modes of intrinsic self, the last 3 from the 5, the last 3, which is dependent, dependee, and the appropriation, these 3 are subsumed. And the second one is rejection of the self to be intrinsically different from its parts. Okay, in this connection, the latter 3 dimensions of the fivefold analysis can be subsumed under the first 2 of the dimensions. But in consideration of the modes of apprehension of the innate identity view, or say identity view meaning how we normally translate it as the wrong view, or the view of the perishable collection. Here, in other words, the self-grasping ignorance. Here, the chapter 22nd and the 10th chapter, we find all the 5 dimensions spelled out in these 2 chapters.
Dinol Tamichino, you, Tiso Gozo Gorishi Moto, Navaji Mora, Tenu to Carreras.
Page 53, this second paragraph. Thus it is adequately clear to understand accordingly. Now one may wonder how one should understand the fact that of the two types of ultimate mode of existence that the scripture spoke of, one is ascribed to the mode of, say, a pot and so forth, existing in the face of meditative equipoise or an analytical wisdom on the stages of steady contemplation or the meditation. I say they are an object existing as intrinsically real, or or viewing the object to be existing as intrinsically real. In the text you find the dimension of two kinds. One is that the object, viewing the object, for example, like a pot, to be existing as the object of the meditative equipoise, the object of the wisdom of the steady reflection and meditation. So when you view that the object like the pot is the object of the meditative equipoise, this is described as the viewing, the wrongly viewing or erroneous viewing of the object to be intrinsically real. So how is this the case?
Rungo Yobara, Titet Sombi, Geshe, Total to Yona, Totamba, Zibe me, Tonkeko, what the Chico, Tony, Naja Shiko, Yoga, Total Tito, Draper, Child, or Tichandroyat, the Renroyat, take a channel, me town as a dog. Oh, yeah. Geshe something Yoba started. So Kogishes, so Kogishes, go, Tibetan Somayo, Conseil, Kogishes. Pensons que ce gosse qui réussit le qui n'est pas de man, tout que je qui autres ne pas yembale, ti toto yobal domani ti toto manzo la je Marina, Theo, Jete, Jibe Nashili, Nami on the Hedgy in the Mela, Jade Sombi, Denzela, Chechi, Denzela, Denzel, Jay, Ton, Denzel Yena Cinnamon, Denzel Yena, TG, TG, to Chico Chicho Gugles, only Kotayana, Denzel, TG, Jay, Chiba, Chinte Dons, Jay, only copy, Gotchayo, Chinte, Chiba, Steny, Mebashi. Ni the Gogo goes Yamos, Tigos, Tikale Tandanga, Solo Cassitan, Naja is Umbala Soba, Naja is the Mebata, Gazambi Chuna, Naja is the Mebata, Tony Yeti, T. And the Yamni chicken on a Naja is your Semame Banyabanes, T. Yamban, Semame Banyabanes. Ti talateni nyazaishi di yoto le kazombi chuno nyazaishi yoto meba toni yise lamna ti yoto yoban sengur the Yovan the Zabata, Denzi Yugo, the Denza setting, Denza Kota, the soon there. No bitum tamano, Nyaza Yishiki, TJ, Nyaza Yishiki Yerla, Ani Kazamba Kapo Matomitoto, or Gasala Sova, you say Suku, Suku Zaka Ayomayo, this Chivache Gondos. Tatana, Ani Yami Chakanola, Seven Meba Madana, Nyaza, we had the Meba Nyambas, the Karas, and Tenangapa Meba, Chimebas, Chiba. Yonya Yishiki Yurla, Yurta, give you a ceiling and a ceiling about the quotation. Oh, Tito, ceiling matabata. Yeah, Zama Yishi, Yeti Roshi, by young, maybe a ceiling, there be a ceiling matabala quotation. Or Tinis Chipa, Jago do matter. On no jet to the Maro, to meet the Tonson, the Ayame, a Javacheron. Kajeti Nyaza Yurta. You want the Kahap Marasova, never you want the bar. To some person, you want the bar. Never you want the bugger, quarter, one eight only got under Yomi chicken over the Saber Yoder, Seven Mandao and the town, never you the never, Tonya yes, and the Yomi church, the Tonya. They in it, the ones that get the seizure and or déjà a couple de or de toba titi de so de jol titi joui non est bien titi ah j'ai une forme de c'est bon j'ai une kawa c'est bon google some dos
From page 53. The fact that existing in the phase of an analytical wisdom is mentioned as existing that way must be understood as a mere case of borrowing the semantics. Where the text indicated that viewing of intrinsic existence, the two kinds, the first one, viewing the object to be viewing the object such as the vase, to be the object of the meditated equipoise of non-dualistically experiencing emptiness. So that view, that erroneous view, of course the vase is not the object, is not the object of apprehension of the erroneous, not the object of apprehension of the meditated equipoise, which is non-dual wisdom of emptiness. But when you view that it is the object of such meditative equipoise, that erroneous view is indicated as the wrong view of grasping at intrinsic reality. So how is this explained? It is that the one way of understanding it is that if the vase does exist intrinsically, say the experience, or say how it exists in its true form, and how the meditative equipoise of non-dual wisdom of emptiness experiences the ultimate reality. You see you grasp at the vase to be object real, or intrinsically real, or ultimately real, versus the meditative equipoise experience the ultimate reality. So this experience-wise, these two are similar. Not that the meditative experience is viewing the object, viewing the vast, not all objects, but the conventional objects falling into the conventional in the category of the conventional reality, the vase, if viewed by the meditative equipoise of the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, then how that is experienced by that meditative experience, and how one views it as intrinsic real in the conventional sense, these two should be like the similar. So this is just the borrowing of the semantics. It's not to be taken as literally. This is one understanding. Then it continues reading. apprehending something such as a pot to be existing in the face of such an analytical wisdom may amount to apprehending it to be findable upon analysis by an analytical wisdom examining the ultimate, but that still cannot amount to a full-fledged grasping into existence. So even if somebody views the pot or the vase to be the object of apprehension of the meditative equipoise, that does not entail, if that is to be seen as the mind grasping at the true existence of the vase, then the viewing the vase as truly existent, we have the innate misperception or innate grasping at the true existence of the vase. So how the object as they apprehended by the innate self-grasping ignorance, the object, the vase, as apprehended by the self-grasping ignorance to be inherently real, and that too by the innate self-grasping ignorance. So that and the grasping of true existence of the vase, these two should be identical in terms of the object. In other words, let's say the self-grasping ignorance of the self-grasping ignorance viewing the vase to be the intrinsically real. Then on the other hand, the vase as the seen, apprehended, was to be apprehended by the meditative equipoise of the non-dual wisdom emptiness. So these two both are erroneous mind, and if you view these two as just identical, sensing that, viewing the vase to be the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom of emptiness to be the self-grasping ignorance, then the object that is apprehended by this mind and the object that apprehended by this mistaken mind, seeing this meditative equipoise, grasping apprehending the vase to be vase as its object, as to be non-erroneous, and the viewing the self-grasping ignorance, the innate self-grasping ignorance, apprehending the vase to be truly real or intrinsically real. These two should be seen as the same. The object as apprehended by the self-grasping ignorance, seeing the vase as intrinsically real. So that is the object of apprehension of this mind. Then on the other hand, your mind viewing the non-dual wisdom emptiness, apprehending the vase. So if you see that the vase, grasping at the vase as the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom to be, say, the self-grasping ignorance, then the vase to be the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom, and was objectively real as seen by the self-grasping, innate self-grasping ignorance. These two should be same. So whereas these two cannot be same, these two are very different. So therefore we cannot say that the viewing the vase to be the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom of emptiness to be viewing of the intrinsic reality of the vase is not acceptable. Okay, to make it again clear, is that so we have to see the what the text identifies as the wrong view of a self-grasping ignorance, wrong view of grasping at the true existence of the vase. That is, the vase to be the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom. So that is that is, if you view that, so that is viewed as the self-grasping ignorance. Then on the other hand, we have the innate self-grasping ignorance, which views the vase to be intrinsically real. So these two things, these two objects, they should be identical. These to be identical if the just as self-grasping ignorance viewing the vase to be truly existent, that is seen as the self-grasping ignorance. If the other is to be seen as self-grasping ignorance, object that it apprehends as well should tally with the one that is grasped at by the self-grasping ignorance, and whereas these two don't tally. Okay, if these two tally, then the problem identified is that for the viewing the vast as intrinsically real, that is not just happening on the intellectual, say the intellectual erroneous mind, but it also happens in our, in our innate, the reaction, cognitive thought process. So whereas there is no innate thought process which innately feels that, okay, the vast is the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom of emptiness. No innate mind is there which views the vast to be the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom of emptiness. So, if something is if this view that the vast to be the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom is the wrong view of self-grasping ignorance, then it must have the corresponding innate self-grasping ignorance. So whereas this viewing that the vast to be the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom of emptiness never happens on the spontaneous innate form. So therefore, that although in the text it indicates that this is also the view of the wrong view, as the wrong view viewing the vast as intrinsically real, but it's not to be taken literally. Okay, continue reading from where we left, page 53 in the middle. Apprehending something such as a pot to be existent in the face of such an analytical wisdom may amount to apprehending to be findable upon analysis by an analytical wisdom examining the ultimate, but that still cannot amount to a full-fledged grasping at true existence. Related to this, one will find Lama Tsongkhapa's thorough exposition of entering the middle way, saying that the first of the two apprehensions of existence is not an innate grasping of true existence. First of the two apprehensions of existence, meaning viewing the vast to be the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, or to be the object of the meditative equipoise of the non-dual wisdom of emptiness. So this does not fall under the category of the innate grasping of true existence. So this is said by Lama Tsongkhapa. Continue reading. That is because if that were to be a grasping of true existence, vast to be seen as the object of apprehension of the meditative equipoise of the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, if that is to be seen as grasping true existence, then the object of fixation, object of, say, the grasping of that apprehension, and the object of fixation of innate grasping true existence must amount to one, must be identical and the same thing. And the states of emptiness in the wake of negating those objects of fixation must also amount to the exact same thing, meaning that rejecting the vast to the object of apprehension of the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, that should amount to the person to rejecting the intrinsic existence of the vast. Yet it's not the case, because that what is rejected of the intrinsicality of the vast, what is rejected, it is actually viewed by the innate self-grasping ignorance, whereas what is rejected of the other view, viewing the vast to be the object of apprehension of the meditative equipoise, that object is never viewed by the innate self-grasping ignorance. Okay, I'll continue reading it. This is how I understand that statement. In this connection, this debate is something which is very pertinent. There's mention of the 10 the equalities or 10 samenesses I taught in the sutra, and of the 10, there is one which refers to the sameness of the signs, the sameness, the sameness in terms of no sign, sameness in terms of signlessness. So in this context, the signlessness is indicated as that the conventional realities, things which fall in the category of the conventional truth, they manifest different the attributes or different signs in the face of the meditative equipoise. Meditative equipoise, referring to meditative equipoise of non-dual wisdom of emptiness. So this is very clearly stated there in the sutra, and these 10 are the samenesses, or 10 samenesses. They are all to be seen as the 10 emptiness, or the 10 ultimate reality. And then from this, one of which is the sameness of the signlessness. And when explained, when you go to understand what it is, what it refers to, the sameness of the signlessness, which is also one of the 10 emptinesses, then it says that the conventional truth, things which fall in the category of the conventional truth, they don't have any distinct signs in the face of the meditative equipoise. So that is posited as the ultimate truth. Then grasping, if there is a case, then the grasping that they do not exist as different signs in the face of the meditative equipoise. And now if you grasp the opposite of this, that these do exist in the face of the meditative equipoise, it should be the grasping at the opposite of emptiness. Grasping at the opposite of emptiness is grasping at the true existence of the emptiness. So how do you explain this? This is a big contradiction there. And so now the question is, before we respond to this, but if we explore that if this were to be seen as grasping at true existence, on the basis of the understanding that you borrowed from the concept of the 10 samenesses presented in the sutras, all these tend to be seen as emptiness, and one of which is the conventional truth, not manifesting in any form of the signs or attributes in the with respect to the meditative equipoise. So how to explain this? Then the question is, if this were to be taken literally as it is, or if we were to say that this is emptiness, then the grasping of the opposite of this should be the grasping of true existence. If that is the case, if something is grasping true existence, there must be a corresponding, innate grasping of true existence of that particular, the same thing, innate grasping, which corresponds to the innate grasping of true existence. And if it is the innate grasping of true existence, who has it? Who possesses it? This innate grasping. Does it exist in the non-Buddhists or the Buddhists and so forth? It's very difficult to... the innate grasping means that somebody should have this. And the non-Buddhists, they won't say that the conventional truth exists in the minds, they exist as the object of apprehension of the meditative equipoise, because they have no clue of the meditative equipoise. And then the Buddhists, nobody will say that the conventional truths such as a vase and so forth, they exist as object of apprehension of the meditative equipoise. Nobody. So this is a big problem, and that the Buddhist, amongst the Buddhist philosophers, nobody will say that the vase, the pillar, and the garden and so forth to be existing as the object of apprehension of the meditative equipoise. There's nobody who views as such. So how do we explain this then? Because this is sutra, and the sutra is very clearly identified these 10 samenesses, all referred to as 10, and the 10 emptinesses, and one of which is the sameness of the signlessness. So how to explain this question? So or how to reconcile this? This is This is a very serious matter. So in this connection, in Mulla Madhyamika Karika, the text on the middle way by Nagarjuna, in the verse of salutation, he said that in dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no oneness, or no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. So this has to be understood in the same way how we understand the word of salutation of Nagarjuna. So so there, Lama Tsongkhapa, when he explained this meaning in the commentary on Nagarjuna's text, Mulla Madhyamika Karika, the Lama Tsongkhapa interpreted in this as such that these eight, the dependent originations, these 8 items indicated here, the emptiness of which is to be seen, and through this one experiences the total peace. So there, how Lama Tsongkhapa interpreted this is that these 8, like ceasing, arising, coming, going, annihilation, permanence, oneness, and separateness. These 8 items not existing in the face of the meditative equipoise. So meditative, the object of meditative equipoise corresponds to the ultimate reality, and that these 8 do not exist as ultimate reality. So this is how we have to find the link, so that the Nagarjuna's word of salutation will make sense to us. Okay, let me say it again, that the Nagarjuna is saying that these 8, the emptiness, these 8 being as objects, or being as objects of the meditative equipoise, that is the ultimate reality, that is the pacification, that is the peace, that is the ultimate truth. So how does one explain this? Lama Tsongkhapa explained this as the following. Say these 8 objects of dependent origination, then the meditative equipoise, which is the non-dual wisdom emptiness. And what's the object of this meditative equipoise? Object of meditative equipoise is the ultimate truth, or say the ultimate. Now that when it says that these 8 not being the object of the meditative equipoise, means that these 8 not being the ultimately existent. So these 8 not being ultimately existent is the ultimate truth, is the experience of which is the peace, ultimate truth. So this is how we have to correlate. So likewise, from the 10 samenesses taught there, one of which is the sameness of the signlessness. So there is to be taken as same, that conventional the truths such as the vase and so forth, not being the object of the meditative equipoise, to be seen as emptiness or ultimate truth. Again, the same thing. This conventional truth, the meditative equipoise, the object of meditative equipoise is the ultimate, and that the conventional truth not being the ultimate is the ultimate truth. These conventional truth being empty of the ultimate, being empty of ultimate reality, or ultimate reality, ultimate existence, is the ultimate truth. So this is how we can understand it. This would be second way of understanding, reading of the 2 versions of the viewing self-grasping ignorance, viewing the grasping true existence. The first one, which is viewing the conventional things, such as a vase, to be the object of apprehension of the meditative equipoise, to be the self-grasping ignorance. So this is to be understood in this form, not to be taken as directly as on the face value.